Snails never go back over their trail.
As soon as I'm old enough and got money, I'm coming to get you.
Childhood was life's best season. It never lasts, but everyone deserves one. I remember everything.
Well, first, I just want to say congratulations on the film. I saw it about 2 weeks ago, and it was really beautiful.
Oh,
I've
wow.
I've
Thank you.
loved stop motion animation ever since I was like a child watching Wallace and Gromit and stuff like that. So, just seeing like a more adult oriented stop motion animation, just and especially one that felt so honest to life itself. I just felt really touched by watching it, so I just want to say congratulations on the film because it's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Jack. No, that it means a lot because, it's such a, well, I don't like the word unique, but I feel very lonely often when I make my films. Even within the animation industry, I'm sort of the odd one out. And, it's really important that people like yourself acknowledge the film because, being an artist, I go through periods of self-doubt and low self-esteem, and whether I often wonder whether I should keep making these films because they're so challenging to make and so difficult to finance. But I suppose the reward is that when they're finished, they certainly connect with people. So that's for my artists and myself. It's a big relief actually when the films work because this one took 8 years. It could have been a big waste of time.
Ooh, I wouldn't call it a waste of time at all. I think the 8 years is it worked perfectly for the film. So I have a couple questions. The first thing I would like to ask is why snails?
Sure. Well, look, originally it was going to be Memoir of a Ladybird, and uh, then that film Ladybird came out, of course, and that ruined things. But no, it actually all became a bit twee and cute and saccharine, and I thought, no, I think we need to find a better creature or animal or insect, and so I went through the whole animal kingdom and came across snails, and I thought, well, actually, they're a lovely metaphor because you touch a snail's antennas and the snail retracts into its shell. And that's what Grace is doing her whole life. She's retracting from the world and pain and suffering. And then also too, I just love the swirl on a snail's shell. It's so, it's so beautiful. And I thought, well, that might be a really nice visual motif to have throughout the film. And it's also symbolic of, life going full circle. It's very cyclic. There's lots of little connections there. And then I discovered that snails can't reverse. They can only move forward. They can go around in circles, but they can't go backwards. And that tied in really nicely with my favorite quote by Søren Kierkegaard that life can only be understood backwards, but we have to live it forwards. So once I started making all these connections with snails, they just seem like the perfect fit. And also they're not ugly, they're not beautiful, they're just peculiar and strange and alluring. And I like that about them too. They're just so alien-like.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a very that quote in the movie it really spoke to me as somebody who constantly like thinks about the past and like, oh, if I could have done this better or this differently, then maybe I would be in a different position than where I am right now. But
Mm.
uh as soon as Pinky tells that to Grace at the end of the film, through the message in the box, I burst into tears because it's such a realistic message that, quite honestly, like you're in a whole animated world that was created by you and your team, that beautifully, by the way,
Mm.
and yet you get to feel these such real emotions, and I thought that was really, really, really powerful.
Well, also too, I mean, that quote, when I first heard it almost 30 years ago, it had a real effect on me. And so I learned more about the philosopher who wrote it, and it's such a simple quote, but it says so much, and it's universal, and yeah, it can apply to so many aspects of our life. There's regret, there's also people who've gone through extreme trauma and pain, just reminding us to not dwell in the past, and that there's nothing we can do about the past. We can only move forward and make the future better. And so I was worried actually it was a bit too simplistic. I thought, oh, it's not really, is it, am I, is it too simple? But I was wrong. It really has resonated with people. And just even that shot, which is a very slow camera move, pushing in on Grace, just staring at us, blinking, with not much animation going on. It's a very long shot too. I was worried the audience might disconnect, but the opposite. Isn't it funny how what you think's going to happen is the opposite, and that's annoying as a filmmaker who, loves to be in control and loves to be a megalomaniac, and that's why I make stop motion films. But often you just get it wrong.
Well, I mean, it once again, it the that was a really good shot. Are you're referencing the shot when Gilbert goes on the bus away to the foster home?
Oh no, that one as well. But yeah, no, the one where you're just zooming in slowly on Grace at the end of the film and you're hearing Pinky's monologue.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, another question that I have is, so the film's production design is like jam-packed with so many different things. Like there's, I'm pretty sure Gilbert's reading Lord of the Flies. Um, and like there's just I think Pinky returns like Misery, to the library. So there's
Mm.
just so many like different, hidden details in the production design, and I haven't seen many other people like mention this, but during the scene where Grace's adopted parents go to the nudist colony, I noticed that one of your older characters, Harvey Crumpet, is in the scene, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, is there any of your other characters from your previous projects in this that I missed?
No, no. I mean, Harvey's just a sort of an ongoing joke that he was in Mary and Max as well, but far more discreet and hidden.
I was
Whereas,
gonna say I don't think I caught him when I watched Mary and Max.
yeah, yeah, he's in the Bogush's typewriting supply stores in the background there. Uh,
Oh,
Whereas this one, we made it a bit more clear that he's there. Yeah, look, I think Harvey is such an important character for me because he changed my life. That film winning the Oscar, uh, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't have made Mary and Max. The government in Australia who fund all my films wouldn't have given me the money to make Mary and Max. So yeah, Harvey was a really pivotal film for me, and
sorry about that.
and so Harvey is really, yeah, I'm very grateful to Harvey, and yeah, he changed my life.
I mean that is also a pretty wonderful film. So as somebody who as you said, the film took around 8 years to make. Is there anything that you have discovered? Was there any like new techniques that you've discovered during the filming of the film that has made production more efficient or?
Oh, for sure. Look, and they're all digital tools mainly. You know, digital cameras have gotten a lot more higher res, more megapixels. LED lights, just even LED lights, have meant that they're cooler to run, they're cheaper to run. The globes don't blow as quick as often. So it just that alone has, keeps the temperature down in the animation stages. The software, there's Dragon Frame now, which is a universal software that all stop motion animators use. Editing's gotten slicker, more refined. So all these digital tools have really liberated stop motion. And that's why the art form is alive and well in some ways. I mean, a lot of that stop motion is still very popular because, there's an appreciation for art forms that are handmade. And now that we have AI as well, stop motion's going through a bit of a renaissance. Also thanks to Guillermo del Toro and Wes Anderson and Henry Selick, all making stop motion films. So yeah, there's certainly lots of new technologies. But having said that, we're still stuck with the same old problem, which is we need 25 frames per second to create, movement, and
Yeah.
that'll never change. I don't think AI can change science. That it's just the rule of, physics, and you need 25 images per second flash before your eyes. I wish it would. Well, I mean, you can do 12 frames, but it's a little bit clunkier. It's more fluid if you do every frame.
I mean, that's very fascinating. I'm glad that there are some tools that can help you guys out. Um, so I was gonna say, well, I know that you don't really like the term unique for your films, but I mean, like they're very, I would say they're very like abstract in concept while also maintaining a very like huge sense of honesty in the stories and the characters. So I just want to ask, like, is there anything in specific where you get your inspiration from?
Yeah, look, I draw from real life. I mean, like a lot of novelists and writers, I find the best stories come from real life. And I've tried creating characters from thin air, but they just come out feeling very artificial. So I steal from my family, my friends. I'm always observing people on public transport, and I have very detailed notebooks going back 30 years, and I use these notebooks as my ingredients and recipe books. So when I go to write a script, I go through them and I find things I'd written years ago, and I think, oh yeah, guinea pigs, I want those in the film, or an elderly woman tap dancing on a table, I want that in the film. So I go through and find all these ingredients, but they've all come from human observations. And this film is based on a friend of mine who was born with a severe cleft palate, and she had a lot of operations on her mouth as a child. And so, there's a lot of her life in there. My parents were big collectors of stuff, almost hoarders, I'd say. Um, so yeah, what's that expression? Truth is stranger than fiction. And yeah, I just love human observation, I suppose. Yeah.
That's really fascinating. So for my final question, I just have to say, so the film recently won the top prize at the London Film Festival. How surreal of an experience has the whole festival circuit been for you?
Well, look, it's been a while since I've been on the festival circuit, and things have changed. Things have still stayed the same. I've been in over 1,000 film festivals now, and that makes me feel really old. But I find festivals really validating, and you get to meet other filmmakers. And I mean, I was just down in the foyer. I'm in Savannah at the moment at the festival here, and in the foyer, I met this woman who's a costume designer for Gladiator 2, and we're just having
Oh,
a
that's awesome.
great conversation about costume design in the foyer. And so, that's the wonderful thing about festivals. But winning prizes is, it's I'm not a competitive person. My brother used to force me to play board games, and I used to let him win, and he'd punch me for letting him win. And I prefer film festivals that are non-competitive. But look, certainly what was interesting about London was that we won against live action films, and that rarely happens that an animated film wins. And there's a real movement at the moment to keep reminding audiences that animation is not a genre, it's a medium, and you can tell any story you want, and people have got to get over this mindset that it's for children. Because I get emails all the time from angry parents telling me my films are not for children. And I say, why are you taking your children to see my films are rated R? You shouldn't be taking your children. Um, so that's changing, which is great. We did a symposium here yesterday at Savannah with the directors of Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Transformers, a wonderful film called Flow by Ginst. I've forgotten his last name. But we're all on stage talking about how animation is in this wonderful transition phase, and there's a lot more edgy content coming out. I mean, there's still a lot of kid stuff, but there is more and more room for content that's a bit more challenging, sophisticated, intelligent, philosophical, and that's great. That makes my life easier because, when I brought out Mary and Max 15 years ago, it was so difficult to get people to see that film because it was just it was considered strange and too adult, and so things have changed for the better, which is great.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they have. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. I just want to say once again, congratulations on the film. I will definitely be seeing it again. So yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Jack. No, it's been great. Yeah, sorry about my ear.
No, don't be don't be sorry at all about it.
All right, well, have a good day.
You too. I can't wait to see what you do next. Have a good
Thank
one.
you. All right.